you can should have all over yourself, but it doesn't change anything, right? It doesn't change anything. And so the only thing we can control is what we do today. How we let that affect us will affect today. And today may be the day you find that deal of the decade. But if you're still squandering over here thinking about how horrible everything is and how horrible life is, and woe is me, you may miss that deal. Welcome back. My name is Jason.
My name's Colter.
And this is the Massive and Passive Income Show.
Yes, it is.
And we are excited to be here. And what's your catchphrase? Say it.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. So we're going to talk about, every episode, and people love talking about everything that goes well. You know, that real estate's just cupcakes and ding dongs, and nothing ever goes wrong. But that's not true. I've had a couple deals go bad, and I don't want to say crazy bad, but there were some things I should have done, and one of them was
Trust but verify.
But verify. And I'm a pretty trusty person, so when somebody says, hey, I'm going to do this, and somebody, let me just tell you the deal real quick. I don't want to get too far into details, and I don't want to be too negative, but we had a guy over in Oregon that we ran into from another guy that was a partner of mine, and he was losing 4 houses, and he was in pre-foreclosure, so he's missing payments. We negotiated with the bank told us, we're going to take over the payments, we're going to bring these things current, we're going to fix them up, we're going to sell them, and we were even going to split some of the equity with the guy that owned them. And so we had this all worked out. We sent him the paperwork, we got a hold of the title company. Title company's like, yep, we'll make this happen, just have him come in. So everything was set. Send him the paperwork. He sends a picture of him in the title company with all the papers there, signed, everything done, everything's good. And he said, okay, I handed him to the title people and they filed it. They took it to the courthouse. Well, he never did. He snuck in, or I don't know if he snuck in, but he just asked the title company if he'd go in and sign everything. So he looked like he was the title company. I've been to that title company. I knew he was there at their conference room. He took the pictures, everything's good, smiles, thanks a lot, you guys really helped me out, I'm so excited to do business with you. Everything was great. Well, 2 or 3 days later, I never got the papers, called the title company. I'm like, hey, he was supposed to drop those off. Did you file them in? Is everything good? He never showed up. And I'm like, oh. And at that point, I didn't think anything bad was, yet. I just thought, okay, there must have been some miscommunication. Wouldn't answer my phone call. And we went probably 2 weeks. And I'm like, I wired him $50,000. 50 grand. So my heart just sunk. My wife's heart sunk. We're like, you gotta be kidding me. So then I called him from a different number that he didn't recognize, and he answered. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? This is Jason. And he goes, oh, hey. And I'm like, what's up? How come you didn't file that paper? Oh, no, I did. Yeah. Then he blocked me completely. I went over and tried to chase him down. And then we tried to sue, and then it got to a point where it was consuming me. I mean, I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't think of anything else because I was like, you've got to be kidding. I was mostly mad at myself because I let something like that happen. But I didn't trust. I trusted, but I didn't verify. And that's what I should have verified everything. And I even had a thought when it was happening. I thought I should call over there and make sure that he hands them to her while I'm on the phone, just to make sure everything happens. But again, I met the guy, I talked with him, I walked these properties. I didn't think there was any way that would even happen. So even the best of intentions, and I think when he first got into it, he didn't intend on taking advantage of us, and maybe he did. Maybe he saw me coming and thought, man, there's a sucker, I'm gonna take you for everything he's worth. I don't think so, because I had some great conversations with him, but because of the situation he was in and how he was losing everything, he made a decision that I don't think he would have normally made if he wouldn't have been in that situation. Yeah. So not that anyone might think, man, I hate that guy, I would go out. We did, but it was killing me. It was tearing me up inside, and I had to let it go and go out and make more money, because you've said it more than once, the deal of the century comes around every week, right? Yeah. Every week you get the deal of the decade. And so we shunned that off, we closed that out. I just had to get it out of my hair, and immediately, because of a contact over there that we met with, contacted us on some other deals, and we did trust and we did verify, and we were able to make double what we would have made even going through that guy. So we ended up making our money that we squandered with this dude, and we made even more. And we made a great contact, made it happen. So it was a tough lesson to learn, but again, trust but verify.
Well, I shared a similar experience, and not the exact same details, but I lost in the six figures, just tens and tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, your heart, it just sinks, right? You lose this money, whether it's yours or somebody else's, or whatever that is, you've lost something. And after having told my story, and I can get into a little bit of details, I had somebody ask me, they said, "So do you regret that?" And we had talked about some other things, and he's like, "So what regrets do you have? Like, what would you have changed about what you did?" And I said, "You know what? I've decided, and I decided this, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. I said, you know what? I've decided I won't live with any regret. It doesn't pay me, doesn't serve me.
And it takes up mental space.
Takes up mental space. I am proud of who I am today because of the experiences that I've had, the goods and the bads. And you know what? I got my Harvard cost equivalent education in 2010.
Nice.
And that right there allows for me to make better decisions today, better decisions tomorrow, and it impacts me and my family and those that I get to be in the same circle with because of those decisions I've made. They've impacted me a certain way, and you know what? I can only be proud of what I do today forward, and the stuff that happened in the past, sure, I might still have something to remedy from the past, but it doesn't mean that I need to dwell on it. It means I need to focus on today and how I resolve it forward.
Love that. High five on that. And the reason why I'm high-fiving is there's so many people out there that get wound up into some kind of a deal where some dirtbag did something to them. It may even be a spouse, maybe a business partner, whatever it is, and it eats them alive. It eats them alive. And there's very big power in what you said there of, look, do I regret? Well, sure. I mean, on the surface, yeah, I wish I would have never done that deal. But do I regret doing it and having the lessons that I've learned? No. And you can live your life in regret, or you can live your life forward. You can't change what's happened in the past. You might be able to go back and remedy a little bit, or get a little bit of something back. You might be able to, and not saying you shouldn't try. Don't just say, oh, that did, and I'm going to go away. Maybe there is a lawsuit you have to do. Maybe there is some things you have to do. My wife just went through a really bad job, and she ended up quitting, and there was so much. I should have done this, I should have done that. And one of the things that makes me laugh every time when somebody says, you can should have all over yourself, but it doesn't change anything, right? It doesn't change anything. And so the only thing we can control is what we do today. How we let that affect us will affect today. And today may be the day you find that deal of the decade. But if you're still squandering over here thinking about how horrible everything is and how horrible life is, and woe is me, you may miss that deal. You may miss that relationship. You may miss that business partner. You may miss that opportunity to change your kid's life or a young person's life because you're not right. And so I think it's so important that, hey, bad things happen. And things I think always happen for a reason. But it's how we react and what we do moving forward that is the big game changer, not what some dirtbag did to you.
Yeah. When I think about, you've just mentioned several aspects of just bringing positivity back into your life. I had an experience this morning where the conversation started to go negative of these experiences that we had each had, and how it could impact us in business, and that, hey, you know what, somebody might feel that this person doesn't do that, or they don't do what they say, or et cetera, et cetera. And you know what? Yeah, you could go down that train. But if I decide today that I'm going to be positive and I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to be optimistic, and you know what? Some things are going to be barriers, and at the end of the day, we all have some level of barrier that we have to overcome. And there are going to be failures that happened. And so we have to decide today and every day forward, am I going to fail or fall back, or am I going to fail and fall forward?
Love that. Fall forward. Because it's all about moving forward. We all love that Rocky clip when he's talking to his son, right? I'm sure
you got to remind me.
It's the one where he's talking about his kid, and he's like, I remember when I could put you in my hand right here. You could do anything. You're brilliant. Just being a part of your life was a joy and was a privilege. But he goes, somewhere along the way, somebody told you weren't good enough. Somewhere along the way, somebody told you that you were not, where you're supposed to be. And then you started blaming other people for where your situation is. And he goes, people, what's the famous thing he says? He doesn't say losers do that. He talks about courage, and then he says, you keep blaming other people, you keep blaming other people for the situation that you're in, and losers do that, and you're not one of those. You're not a loser. Like bad people do that, and you're not the bad people. He says the only thing you can do is keep moving forward. And he goes, life is going to knock you down. You're going to take hits. You're going to be at the bottom of the barrel sometimes. And he goes, the only thing you can do is take that step, get up, and keep moving forward. It's awesome. If you haven't seen it, just put Rocky moving forward with Sun in any kind of search engine, and it'll come up, and it's about 10 minutes long. I mean, the Rocky theme, when I hear it, it gets you moving, because it's so true. The world will knock you down, it'll beat you down. Bad things will happen, and you could dwell on that. And I've seen bad things take people down. I've seen divorce take people down. I've seen foreclosure take people down. I've seen bankruptcy take people down. It's just what was. This is what happened. This was us. And yeah, you may have owed some people money. Yeah, you may have, some things may have happened, but how much misery do you have to feel in order to feel like you've suffered enough? Mm-hmm. And that's where it comes to a point of, I've got to move forward now. I've got to just do what I need to do to take care of me now, because me now is what matters, not me yesterday.
And the me now is mindset.
Yeah.
It is truly 100% where you are in your frame of mind, right? Papers, bankruptcy, foreclosure, nobody wants to experience those challenges. Those are terrible. And they will take somebody and they will just remove any mindset of creativity, excitement, vision, hope, desire, and it can take them into this small, dark corner that says, I'm not enough, I can't do it, I'm not going to be able to get out of this.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, the fact is that those papers, whatever that is, whether you've been served or you end up with a bankruptcy or you have to turn a home back to foreclosure, none of those are comfortable in concept, right? But if you were to able to just separate yourself and say, you know what, those are happening, that's a part of my life and I will resolve them. And you know what, I'm going to focus on them for 20 minutes a day. And the rest of it, I'm going to focus on how I can create something that is positive for me.
Going forward.
You just move forward. And you know what? You're not leaving this in the dust. And it might take 20 minutes. It might take 2 hours. And then you need an hour to recover and come back into a mindset and into a Zen or whatever it is, and meditation and prayer or whatever it brings somebody back to center of this is who I want to be. Those things are terrible. And they are not fun, and you don't want to experience them. I've had so many conversations, just like you, Jason, mentioned, is we've seen people that have gone through those things, and it can just tear the soul right out of a person.
It does.
And it's terrible, and I want to sympathize with them. But you can come back to a mindset of positivity. I remember making $6,000 a month payments on hard money loans and thinking, I'm never going to get out of this. I was a student. I didn't have that money.
Yeah.
I mean, the best that I had was I could borrow from student loans. And I was taking this and I was borrowing from Uncle
pay
Sam
something
or
else.
whatever you want to call it. And I was putting it in this other account where it just ultimately disappeared. And at the end of the day, that could have pointed me in a direction that says real estate isn't for you. Business isn't for you. You're just going to have to deal with the fact that you lost and it sucks to suck.
Yeah.
But me having flipped that mindset into, no, I'm going to figure this out. I know this is what I want, and I'm going to go after it, and I'm going to dig myself out, hell or high water. That was my focus.
This is just a temporary thing.
Yes.
It really is. I was talking to a lady who was having some financial problems, and I told her, she kept talking about her credit score. And finally I'm like, your self-worth is not depicted on a credit score. And she just stared at me and she goes, wow. Yeah, I guess that's true. I was like, stop it. Who cares? Who cares if you add you and your husband's, credit score, it ends up being a 400. It doesn't matter. And who cares if you can't even finance a tricycle right now? It doesn't matter. Do you have a car? Yes, we do. Do you have a home? Yes, we do. Then stop. You got to move forward. You got to let that go. You'll have a credit score again. It'll take you a couple years. But believe me, you can live without a credit score just fine. You don't need it. You need it, but you don't need it. And that's the thing that people, they let this stuff define who they are. And it's not who they are. You are who you are by what you do and how you move forward. Yeah. That's your legacy you want to show your kids.
It really is. And I'll close this out is that, you know what? Bad things happen to good people. They just absolutely do. Bad things happen to good people, and good things happen to bad people.
And good things happen to good people.
And they do.
And bad things happen to bad people, which they deserve that, right?
It comes full circle.
That's
So think positive. You know what? The bad happens, and the bad comes with the good, and the good comes with the bad, and we have to overcome those obstacles, and it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to us being able to create that positivity in our lives because of our focus and our goals and what we want to accomplish.
Love that. Love that. So go out there, make some things happen. Things may happen to you that that's not in your control, and just keep moving forward, right? Isn't that the thing we want to put out
right.
there?
Yeah.
Just keep moving forward.
And keep doing it. Trust but verify, but keep doing it.
Yeah, love it. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.